I'm not a lawyer, but let's talk about day 18 of the Karen Reed trial. All right, so Brian Higgins is still on the stand, but Alan Jackson, Karen's defense attorney who was doing cross-examination last week, he wasn't in court because he had some prior engagements. So Karen's other attorney, David Yanetti, takes over for cross. And he gets right into Brian Higgins only extracting certain text messages versus others.
Sir, you provided to investigators what you claim were the complete text exchanges between yourself and Karen Reed and yourself and John O'Keefe, correct?
What I provided was the complete, I let them know that it was a complete exchange between myself and the defendant. And I said that I may have had other text strings at other times with Mr. O'Keefe.
I'm going to proceed to ask you a series of questions which call for a yes or no answer. Can we agree that you'll answer yes or no to those questions?
If I can answer yes or no to the best of my ability, I will.
All right. You did not provide to investigators any other text messages between you and anyone else.
That's correct.
In September of 2022, you were served with a preservation order for your phone. After September of 2022, you never received anything in writing that canceled or lifted that preservation order.
That's correct.
After September of 2022, you made the decision to dispose of your phone without consulting anybody about the decision to throw out your phone. Before you threw the phone away, you did a factory reset of it. Did you not?
No, I did not.
Well, testified in another proceeding on June 1st, correct, of 2023? Prior to that June 1st testimony, you met with some people and gave a statement on May 5th of 2023. When you met with those people on or about May 5th, you told them that you did a factory reset of your phone ending in 5421.
I don't recall that, no.
Directing your attention to the first highlighted line there.
That's not accurate. I did not tell them that.
All right, so your testimony is that they got it wrong, correct?
My testimony is I didn't make those statements.
Your testimony is that they got it wrong, yes or no?
Objection.
Sustained.
Well, in any case, you took the SIM card out of your phone, correct?
No, what I testified to was that it's...
Did you take the SIM card out of your phone, yes or no?
I don't know.
Did you testify that that's what you do when you get rid of phones, sir?
What I said was that might have been the extent of it if I was to have done that.
And you either cut up the SIM card or ripped it up, correct?
I believe what I testified to was
I would have... I'm not
I
asking you what you testified to. I'm asking you today, did you either cut up the SIM card or rip it up?
Cut it up or broke it.
And you will agree with me that cutting up or breaking the SIM card destroys the SIM card, does it not?
The card itself, yes.
And in that testimony that you gave in June 1st of 2023, did you say the following, quote, I made sure that somebody couldn't put it in their phone?
Yes, I did say that.
And you'll agree with me that you took that destroyed SIM card and put it in a trash bag?
I believe it went in a trash bag, yes. Or with my trash.
And then you also took your phone, now without the SIM card, and you put that in the trash bag too, did you not?
Yes, sir.
Then you drove to a military base and you threw both the destroyed SIM card and the phone into a dumpster, did you not?
Well, I was cutting through the base, and I believe how I testified
was... Did you drive to a military base, sir?
I was cutting through a base, yes.
Did you drive to it?
Yes, sir.
And then you put both the destroyed SIM card and the phone itself, which were in a trash bag, into a dumpster on that military base, did you not?
I believe that's what I did, yes.
And as you were driving away, you knew that that destroyed SIM card and the phone would be gone forever, correct?
Yes, I threw it away.
And before you drove away, you did not transfer anything from your old phone to the new phone, correct?
That's correct.
You lost all of your photos on that phone, did you not?
Whatever photos I had on there, I did, yes.
You lost all your videos on that phone, did you not?
To the extent if I had any.
You lost all of your other text messages besides the ones that you had with Karen Reed and John O'Keefe, correct?
That's correct.
And you knew that you did have text messages on that old phone with Kevin Albert.
He's a friend, most likely.
You also had text messages on your phone with Nicole Albert.
Most likely, yes.
And you had text messages on your phone with Brian Albert.
Yes.
You did not ask your friend Matt Kelch, the agent, to help you extract those text messages, did you?
That's correct.
And when you went to that machine, you did not extract them yourself, did you?
No, I did not extract those.
So the only place you knew they existed was on your old phone. The same phone that you put into a dumpster on a military base with a SIM card removed from the phone and destroyed.
Well, I did throw the SIM card and the phone on the military base.
Right. And we're talking about the actual phone that would have had your text messages, again, with Brian, Nicole, and Kelvin Albert, correct?
Yes, because the motion was denied.
Well, you've already testified, sir, earlier that you never received anything in writing that either canceled or lifted the initial preservation order, correct?
That is correct.
Mr. Lally, who represents the Commonwealth or the prosecutors, does some redirect, and he talks more about the text messages, Brian Higgins going back to the police station after leaving 34 Fairview, as well as that 22-second call that happened at 2:22 a.m. between Brian Higgins and Brian Albert.
Now, the text communications between yourself and Ms. Reed, again, who initiated those?
The defendant did.
Did you discuss those text messages with anyone?
Not to my knowledge, no. To be honest with you, I mean, on a personal level, I kind of keep things to myself. I was a little embarrassed, wasn't really proud of him, kind of maybe didn't show me in a good light with respects that I was John's friend.
With reference to going to the Canton Police Station after Fairview Road and moving the vehicles around, and with the impending weather, why was it that you went to the Canton Police Station to move the vehicles around on that occasion?
Because as I stated before, if I didn't do it then, I would have had to come back in the morning. And I knew the weather was going to be getting worse. I knew that I had a long day. I had been in New York. I had been out the night before in New York, and I just thought it was best to get them moved at that point.
Now, you were asked some questions on Friday about a phone call or something in a call log from about 2 o'clock or 2:22 in the morning of January 29th. Now, when you make a call on an iPhone, as you sort of place that call, you hit the button, there's sort of a timer that comes up and it starts counting off seconds as the call is being connected, correct?
I believe so.
And so seconds are ticking off while the call is being connected, correct?
I believe so, yes.
And if a call is connected, then it starts ringing. Unless someone picks up immediately, there are further seconds that are ticking off on an iPhone while that call is ringing through, correct?
Sorry, did he just try to imply that the seconds on a call starts when you're calling somebody? Because I just tried it. The seconds don't start until the other person answers, right?
Did you ever speak with Brian Albert at 2:22 in the morning on January 29th?
No, I did not.
You were asked some questions on Friday regarding key card access within the Canton Police Station. As far as that door that you utilized, as far as going in and out, do you have to swipe a key card in order to go in and to go out?
So sometimes if you're close to the door, maybe having a conversation with somebody, it could activate the key card itself. But physically, if I'm going into the door, I would take it out and I would swipe it. I would hold it to the card reader. Some are more sensitive than others is what I'm trying to say.
He just said that you can activate the system by standing too close.
And then he gets into when and why Brian Higgins got rid of his phone.
And so when was it that you disposed of your phone?
It was about 2 months after that because it was beaten, it was broken up, and I had already had a new phone. And this only explanation is I threw it away. That's it. So in July of 2022, I had a target of an investigation I was working who alleged that he called me on my personal cell phone. And when I questioned him as to the fact how he obtained my personal telephone number, he told me that his girlfriend had obtained it off of open source internet, which I later confirmed that number was out there. And so July of 22 is when I probably started thinking about, you know what, I got to get rid of the telephone number itself. I had more of a connection to my work phone and more of a value to my work phone than I did my personal phone. Well, if I was going through and I had trash or some recycling and I was either getting gas on the base or hitting the duty free, I would occasionally toss a bag of trash in one of the dumpsters there. Or if I forgot, I would throw it out when I got back to my other property. And at the time, at one point, I was living in Canton and I had the house there and then I sold it and then I had the in-law I was renting. So I had other options to throw things away. I've spent my whole life between being a firefighter, working in the profession that I work now, being a tactical medic. If I had saw John O'Keefe on the side of the road, I would have done something to make a difference.
Next couple of witnesses really don't provide much information, but I do want to talk about the last two witnesses of the day. There's this guy whose name is Nicholas Roberts, and he worked at the State Police Crime Lab in the Toxicology unit. But I got to give you some context before we get into it, so just follow me. The morning that Karen Reed found John O'Keefe laying in the snow, she started voicing some thoughts of harming herself. She was taken to the hospital, and when she got there, her blood was drawn. Now, the hospital drew her blood, and they took serum from that blood and used that to test her blood alcohol level. You know, the test to see how much alcohol is in your system. So this guy, Nicholas Roberts, he's able to take that serum number that the hospital gives and convert it into the typical blood alcohol percentage number that we are all used to, the number that can get you a DUI. So I'm going to play these clips, but what you need to know is that the first number that Nicholas is going to give is Karen's serum number, the number from the hospital. And from there, he's going to talk about converting that serum number into the blood alcohol percentage number, and he gives a range of what that percentages.
Let's say, for instance, you fall and you cut yourself, that red stuff that comes out, that has serum within it. What the hospital does, they centrifuge it or spin it very fast in order to get the red blood cells, the white blood cells, and all kinds of the heavier materials out of that blood. And what's left is the serum. So they use that to test their alcohol. So a serum conversion essentially is able to convert the alcohol content from that serum that we get from the hospital into what it would be in whole blood.
And if you could, what was reported in the medical records that you reviewed and using in your serum conversion analysis as far as the level?
The level was at 93 milligrams per deciliter. It was at 9 in the morning, 9:08. So our values that were calculated for the low was a 0.078 gram percent. The high was a 0.083 gram percent, with the average being a 0.081.
Now, once he has that blood alcohol percentage number from 9 a.m. when her blood was drawn, he's then able to backtrack and determine an estimate of what her blood alcohol percentage was around 12:45 that previous night. And 12:45 is around the time that police are alleging Karen hit John. So he's essentially giving an estimate of how drunk Karen was when she allegedly hit John. And just to level set, typically anything over a 0.08 percentage can get you a DUI. So in his numbers, pay attention to where he places the decimal, and that'll kind of help you.
We usually get a police incident report, and that usually identifies the time in which, per their narrative, what time in which they had the last drink. The time that was utilized as the last drink, it was at 12:45.
That'd be 12:45 a.m. Is that correct?
Correct.
And so you're using that to sort of extrapolate from 9:08 a.m. when the 93 milligram per deciliter is reported from Good Samaritan to 12:45 a.m. Correct?
Correct. So we usually just calculate a minimum and a maximum for the retrograde. So the minimum amount that was calculated would have been a 0.135 gram percent.
And then with regard to the maximum, what, if any, result did you get from your mathematical calculations in regard to that?
The result was a 0.292 gram percent.
Okay, and then the last witness of the day is Canton IT Director Luis Jutros. I don't know if I'm saying his name right. State police requested video footage from the library from this IT director, but when Lally handed him the CD of that alleged footage, apparently it didn't look familiar.
I'm showing you a disc. Just ask you to, as far as that video from the Canton Public Library, you've seen that video subsequently, is that correct?
This disc with the wording on it?
Yes.
No, I have not seen this.
Not that specific disc, I'm sorry, sir, but the footage, have you been shown that particular video footage, or did you review that footage before you gave it to the troopers?
This is not mine to the trooper.
Understood. May we approach?
Okay. Now, they didn't show much of the actual footage, so I assume it's going to be brought up later. But Yanetti did ask some interesting questions on cross-examination that may be implying something.
So confirming, the state police, when they contacted you, asked for 2 hours of video footage, right? Between 12 and 1 a.m. on January 29th and between 5 and 6 a.m. on January 29th, correct?
Yes, sir.
You pulled that video footage, or at least arranged for it to be pulled for the state police, correct?
Yes.
And I believe your testimony was that you checked the beginning time and the ending time to make sure that you had the right time periods for those 2 hours, correct?
Yes.
But you did not sit down and watch 1 hour of snow falling and or cars driving by the public library, correct?
That is correct.
You
I
didn't
did
do that
not.
for between 12 and 1 or between 5 and 6?
Correct. I did not.
And you're certain that you did not cut out any of the video footage in those 2 time periods, correct?
Correct. It's motion activated. That's the only piece.
You provided the state police with the raw footage as it existed in your possession at that time, correct?
Yes.
All right, that was day 18. There's no more court for the rest of this week, so they will be back on Monday of next week. I'm going to be talking about this case on my podcast. I'm not a lawyer, but The Debrief, so make sure you follow me on YouTube.